Welcome back, friends. It's another precious moment at the Mindful CEO podcast. Aaron Hendon and Chris Angell coming at you. We we were just talking in the green room about what Aaron was acknowledging me. You should all know, for the record, Aaron was acknowledging that he didn't want to miscapturing something I was saying because
Yes, that's
what was
that's
implied
wonderful.
was that was important and I'm really cool.
That was not implied. That's explicit, not implicit. You are very cool.
Yes. I don't. How do we set this up? We kind of went back
Well,
and forth in the green room, but
yeah. So let's see. We were talking about alignment and as the source of results.
yep.
Okay, alignment as the source of breakthrough results. That when you operate in alignment with now alignment with what? We haven't really talked about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
right.
We
But
can explore that.
we can. So we can explore that, but we'll come back to that. But when you're operating in alignment with your higher self, when you're operating in alignment with that which comes to you from the cushion with, the what is it, the guiding hand,
Invisible hand.
the invisible hand. When you're in alignment with that, nurturing your alignment with that, nurturing your ability to be aligned with
Yeah.
source's intention, your higher self, the invisible hand, those spaces.
You could say gratitude, alignment with gratitude.
You could say gratitude, and I think that that's really, I have really digging in on that
Mm-hmm.
because I lose that thread from time to time. And so what I was thinking was like, I lose that thread. I lose that. I stop catching that breeze. We were
Right.
looking at this from a sailing metaphor.
Right.
That alignment is what a sailboat, how a sailboat operates. It's an alignment with the wind, and
Mm-hmm.
it uses the its sails to catch the wind and travel, you know, forward, including when the winds get choppy or the seas get rough. You can tack, you can make small adjustments and move even when the wind's not at your back. It's at your front, what is it, your face? Wind's in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
we're
Into
not
the wind.
sailors. Neither one of us are really sailors. We're
Ahoy,
you
matey.
Yeah,
Ahoy.
exactly. We're using this metaphor very loosely and
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
in an uneducated way. Um, but you can tack into the wind and still make forward progress even when the winds change. That was the point of that metaphor. And my experience with meditation in particular is that it allows me to slow down enough to pick up the wind again, to
Mm.
hear
Mm-hmm.
source's intention, to get realigned with that, and to determine where, I need to point the boat, where
Yeah.
what my attitude needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? The attitude of the boat needs to be in that direction to move the game forward. And so that was where we started. And then you,
Yeah.
Chris, came in with,
Yeah. I was. Let me just go where how I shared it, and we can connect it back to the wind and sailing thing in a second. But I was teaching my Impact University class last night, and this is in this last night. The course, the lesson was about how do you find people for your programs? How do you go out and find people? And the lessons around proximity. Like there are people you are in proximity to in any given moment, your Facebook friends, your phone contacts, going to local events. I mean, any moment you could go find people just through proximity. And it would be enough people if you did this for a couple weeks or a couple months. It would be enough people if you really slowed down and made some contacts with human beings and got to know them. You could have enough people to meet your financial needs. But so I was saying like this course is as much for me as it was for my participants in the program because I find myself my brain wants to go out and play with the solving the puzzle of my vision, not
mm,
slow down and make a connection with on one with a person in this moment. And it felt similar. I could feel it last night as I was teaching. I was thinking of our interactions in the Mindful CEO Mastermind, thinking this is like mindfulness for me. Like it, it's it's hard to slow down and sit on a cushion. It's hard to take a mindful moment um, because I would rather go out and play with the mechanisms of it. That my curiosity and my interest is in the all the bells and whistles and tools of how the vision comes to be, not in
Mhm.
the not in the mindful moment.
Mm.
And so I miss alignment. I'm out of alignment with gratitude. I'm out of alignment with the invisible hand because my I'm not putting my attention there. My now, which go back to last week's podcast episode, everybody, like my now, my relationship to the now is out of alignment with gratitude. With my now is not gratitude. My now is let me go fix and solve and understand how the world works.
Yeah, there's something I heard in what you were sharing just now, Chris, that might be applicable. Because look, taking a break, stopping the momentum to set, stopping the ball rolling downhill that gets started in the morning and winds up, at
Yeah.
10 p.m. back in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping that for a moment to slow down, to take 10 minutes to breathe and get centered and get aligned, it definitely takes something. I got no problem with even describing it as difficult, but regardless, it takes something. But I think that pull, so, I'd rather, play with the bells and the whistles and part of that, there's a couple things, and this is just to explore to see which feels true to you,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think it's in. See, I mean, I think curiosity and playing and
Yeah.
exploring
Yeah. Yeah.
options are all completely valuable and invaluable. And if they're done in alignment, right? If they are the actions that are called for, then they're, you know, some of the most potent actions you can take are in the domain of exploration, curiosity, like that.
Yeah.
Um, but if it's the thought I had, Chris, was is it, and you'd have to check in to see which it is for you, but is it a case of avoiding execution or implementation to go back into the world of ideation? We talked about this years ago. The how much more fun ideation is than execution,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's got a fucking brilliant idea. Everyone's got brilliant ideas. There's no one who that doesn't have brilliant ideas. It's just the execution of those ideas that matters. That ideating ideas, creating ideas is a dime a dozen. Executing on them is everything. So we're talking in the world of, execution, performance, implementation, that those that when you're engaged with that domain, execution, implementation, performance, any of that, anything else you want to throw into that category. When you're in that domain and you are acting in alignment with your higher self, your results are, you have a opportunity to have breakthrough results. But if you're unwilling to get into the world of implementation, if if you're avoiding it by
Right.
getting curious or interested or going down this rabbit hole or that rabbit hole, and you're labeling it curiosity, but really it's avoidance. And only you would know that.
Yeah.
Only you personally would know that if that's the case. If that work you're doing is actually avoiding work, or if it's um, you know, if it's real, if it really is
Yeah.
curiosity, exploration.
Yeah. I mean, I can put, if I put it in both contexts, the context of proximity and finding people, and also the context of mindfulness meditation, sitting on a cushion, there is a continuous invitation to do that. There's like a, hey, it'd be good right now is if you sat on a cushion. Hey, it'd be good right now is if you made some connections to people. Um, it doesn't occur like inspiration, like, oh my God, I can't wait to sit on the cushion right now.
Right.
But it does occur like for for the last several weeks, as you and I and our mastermind have been exploring gratitude, um, and kindness and performance and these things, what keeps this, like that little tickle in your brain that's like, hey, this, there's something in here. There's something in here. And my current pace doesn't feel like, oh God, I can't wait to sit down and slow down. I can't wait to slow down and sit on a cushion. But there's this little soft whisper, this soft little, hey, there's something in here. So from that standpoint, there's like a, yeah, I would suppose it would be an avoidance. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it, and we can always hear it in others, right? For us, it always looks like, oh, just one more video, I'll get up in 3 more minutes. Um,
Uh-huh.
I'm just being curious.
Right, right.
What's down that rabbit hole,
Yeah, yeah.
right? How many Tylenols do you need to take before you cause it? Um,
Right, right. Yeah.
uh, yeah, so there's that. It's just worth exploring because I'm big on curiosity. I love rabbit holes and I love shiny objects. I love all that stuff. And I know that I have, and I don't think it's personal, have a bias toward, oh, I have a bias away from the implementation. And I think that's the thing about alignment too, Chris, that I haven't thought of yet or haven't talked about yet or thought through yet is, aligned action doesn't have with it the sort of baggage that would have me avoid implementation. The baggage about implementation is it's a pass fail kind of reality. You have the potential to fail when you execute. You don't have the potential to fail when you ideate. There's no
Right.
failure in ideation. I think a lot of the hesitancy to implement is in the domain of our inability to deal with failure. Um, but in aligned action, there's really no failure. It's just hacking. It's just you go as far as you can go, and then you go the other direction. Then you go as far as you go the direction. You go back and forth until you're moving. Everything is, you know, learning to walk, falling forward. Everything is just
Yeah.
another step closer in aligned action. Um, so it could be a truing mechanism, like and we've certainly talked about this too, but like, true north, like a compass. Is this action consistent with the cathedral? And, am
Right.
I being curious about something that's going to further the cathedral, or am I avoiding, mixing the mortar? Because you got to
Sure.
fucking mix the mortar. I mean, I don't care what you're doing. You have to mix the mortar you know,
Yeah.
uh, whatever, sharpen the chisel, either way, whatever. Right. It's because I'm now thinking if your stones are cut right, you don't need mortar. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't want to
You
miss.
gotta polish the hammer.
There you go. Yeah, buddy. Are you polishing the hammer, or are you spending too much time polishing the hammer? You know what I'm saying? You never know. Um, all right, let's bring that one back in. But yeah, so I mean, if you're using your calling and that would be alignment with what you're calling, right? The
Yeah.
cathedral
Right.
you're building. Yeah. And what
Yeah.
you're out to accomplish, what it is that you say matters, what it is that you're out to fulfill in the world. If your actions are aligned with that, and for me, the discovery has been that meditation has given me the opportunity to true myself up more easily,
Yeah.
the other things tend to fall away, including the fear of failure and the noise and all the distractions tend to drop away. But I do have to get myself to the cushion. And, I woke up on Monday and I realized, oh, fuck, I didn't meditate yesterday. Like the day just, and I didn't do anything yesterday, Sunday. I mean, oh, that's not true. I wound up showing some clients a house, but, um, I did jack all. I had more it was not that I didn't meditate because I was too busy. Um, it was just like I woke up the next day, and that's how there's still a level of interrupting
Yeah.
that's required, interrupting the automaticity.
Yeah.
And it's not yet, where the dream is to have for me to turn meditation into brushing my teeth. Like I brushed my teeth twice on Sunday. I woke up before bed. It didn't matter how busy I was, didn't matter how busy I wasn't. I just brushed my teeth twice a day, every day.
Right.
It's just the way that is. And
Right.
and I think there's an enormous advantage to having meditation live that way. Like, oh yeah, it's just mental hygiene as opposed to dental hygiene. It's just what we do. We just take 10 minutes and
Yeah.
let the brain tune. And again, I think and the thing that I think is, I got to stop saying and again. Um, I notice it's a crutch.
And
Uh,
again, but the kicker, I mean,
but the
sorry.
kicker,
So what's the what's the kicker
yes,
though?
yeah, thank you, ChatGPT. Here's the kicker. Um, oh my God, I lost it.
That's my bad. That's my
No, it's
bad.
not good. Um, what were we talking about?
Mental hygiene. Brush your
Yeah,
teeth twice a day.
yeah, the opportunity to settle that noise, right,
Mhm.
is, an opportunity to hear what I'm aligned with and to retune myself to what I'm committed to. Oh, and it alters the attitude.
Mm.
So I went back to look and see, this breakthrough quarter I just had, and what am I going to do to have it again? And what am I, where did I get it? And one thing I noticed was that I had eased up on my discipline around maintaining an attitude of gratitude.
Mm.
It wasn't I started complaining, and it wasn't that I started, bitching about things. It wasn't that anything major happened that was different, but it was clearly, the conscious slow down, stop, feel my feet. Where's the gift of this moment? What's it feel like? That was kind of fine tuning of the sails
Hmm.
was gone, was missing. It was just I got wrapped up in the day to day,
Mm.
and I think those things matter. I think the little edges matter, the little spaces.
Yeah. Do you? There's an image in my head. I'm curious if it feels true to you, like because we've talked about what are the principles here. What could you reproduce it? Could you distinguish it in a way that there are principles? So the image in my head is, and I could relate this back to sailing too, but the a keg, a keg, where
Ooh,
yeah, where you got to prime it, you got to pump the keg, which to me would represent, you're going to do some things like brush your teeth twice a day. There's some activity. You're going to mix the mortar. You're going to sit on a cushion. But there's a little bit of like, you got to pump the keg. But then the cool part is you push the little tab and then there's this natural flow out into the thing we wanted. So if you put it in a sailing context, there is a moment where when you're tacking, you've got to switch the sails. You got to pull the rope and do the
Mhm.
thing, and then the sail shifts. But then you can ride that wind for a while. Once the sail picks up the wind, is in alignment with the sail. You can actually ride that for a bit until you got to, pull the rope the other way, swing the thing around, and so there's this action release action. There's like a sit on the cushion, and then the wind takes you, and you sit on the cushion, and the wind takes you. I feel if that were true as a principle, and as I say it doesn't feel not true. I almost feel like I'm maybe in my 3D mental brain. I could justify it more because I can see cause and effect. I'm like, oh, this is what I do to mix the mortar, and then whoosh, I can stack bricks. This is what I do to adjust the sail, and I can ride the wind. Right now, meditation doesn't occur like that for me. It occurs like I sit here and then nothing. I sit here for 10 minutes and then nothing the rest of it. There's no wind that carries me the rest of the day, at least that I'm not present to. And not even that it's not happening, but it feels like a throwaway. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do something and it doesn't produce a result. That's the
Yeah, yeah,
story.
yeah,
Does
yeah.
but if I could believe into the story of it, even without even any empirical data, just believe the story. Like I sit on the cushion because it allows me to catch the wind.
Hmm.
I could tack for a month. I could tack. I could be like, I'm gonna set my sail. I'm gonna tack twice a day for 10 minutes, and then let the wind pull me for a month.
Mm.
I would do that experiment. I say that to you now publicly on this podcast, but I
Yeah, there you go. Okay, good. Well, couple, so one is there's a level of there's a place where cause and effect slips into in order to,
yeah, I could hear that in the end of that. Yeah.
and that'll kill it. That'll kill it. That'll be like, well, look, I'm here. Where is it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sitting here doing it. And there's something of a paradox in it that I don't think it's something of a paradox. I sort of think this is the ultimate paradox. It's reflected back to, in
Mm.
fact, the Buddha sitting
Hmm.
initially, which I'm sure we've talked about too. But,
Yeah.
you know, the Buddha sat with the desire to lose all desires.
Hmm.
Well, or he sat with he sat with the desire to become enlightened, and he discovered the thing between him and his enlightenment was his desires, and he needed to let go of desiring anything. So, you get it when you let go the need to get it. That's the alignment part is, that's the Michael Singer part. That's that's the
Yeah, but just like that, like Singer, like there, if I think of the keg now, him going to a yoga pose was pumping the keg, and then he stopped doing yoga poses and caught the wind, and life just brought, how do you, he said it earlier? I was in the green room or not. It was great. It was like, yeah, yeah. If alignment is catching the breeze and the breeze is taking it with you, like he did some,
Mhm.
he was
Yeah.
making some adjustments to the ropes and the pulleys and the sails.
Yeah, well, I think if you got real, I mean, if you get real quiet, AKA meditate,
Yeah,
AKA slow down,
yeah, yeah,
AKA just take 3 breaths, just
yeah.
chill the fuck out, however you want to say it, whatever action there is, you can hear what the next aligned action is. And you do that action because it's in alignment with what you're up to. It builds your cathedral, and you take your attention off it producing an immediate result because you're moving in the direction of your commitment. And the results are like the wake of the sailboat. They just show up. You can't
Mm,
help
mm,
but get the results because the
mm,
boat's moving and it creates a wake. And results are always a function of what or what are not a function of, but the results are always what's left behind
Yeah.
of any action. And aligned action is going to produce aligned results behind you. That's you
Yeah.
can't
That's great. Love that.
you can't steer by the results.
Yeah.
And you
That's
can't have
great.
your attention on the results. You can't have your attention behind you.
Yeah.
You've
That's
got to,
great.
and if you maintain that, and so,
Hmm. That's
you
great. I
know,
love that.
and then so Chris, and then noticing, and one of the things you can notice in that 10 minutes of mindfulness that you take, or for anyone, is, you know, letting go, for whatever the fuck that means, letting go of in order to, and taking the action out of devotion
Say
to
that taking the action
out
out.
of a set rather than taking the action in order to get the result.
Ah, got it. Yeah.
You take the action because you're devoted to the future that you take the action as a
Yeah.
act of devotion,
Yeah.
which is, devotion demands nothing of that which it's devoted to.
Yeah.
When you're devoted to a lover, you're not demanding anything of the lover. You're devoted. Your
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
actions are consistent with one who's, acting out of unconditional love. And um and I don't know that that's reproducible. I don't, you know what I mean? I mean, I think it's reproducible, actually. I do. I think that's a what I'm trying to say, and I don't know if it's one way to say it or not, but it's certainly my commitment to say what Esther Hicks talks about, what Joe Dispenza talks about, what Michael Singer's talking about, what the sages talk about. We're talking about it more in the domain of business, but nonetheless,
Hmm.
I don't think I'm not out to have what I'm saying be something new that's never been said.
Yeah.
I'm out to have what I'm saying be expressive of a universal truth that's been said by many people.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I do think, sitting and acting in alignment from what shows up after the sit, but not sitting to get that, but where prayer is speaking and meditation is listening, I think you'll hear it.
Yeah. You said in last week's podcast you were talking about uh your relationship to now, and like, if you want a result, you have to take action. In a 3D world, in a three-dimensional world, like if you want something, an action, then you're going to have to do a result. You have to, isn't that how you said it? If you want a result, you have to take action.
Yes,
And the only
actions
time you can take
moving
action is
now.
right now. Yeah. So there is. I guess I'm just reiterating it for myself. I'm just working it in, massaging it into tissue here, but there is a cause and effect. Like I can I can sit in order to, I can adjust my sails and pull the ropes in order to get a result, because that's a cause and effect. As long as maybe there's not an attachment to the wake it leaves. Like if I can just, the game feels better if I can say I'm going to do this in order to get a result without being attached to what's in the wake, what's in the result. If I could just play that game.
You have to have some interest in what the result is so that you can keep directing the boat in the right direction, in the direction you want to go. So you do need to
Yeah.
have some sense of where you've been, where you're heading, like that. I think it's a question of losing your attachment to
Yeah.
how you get there, when it comes, dancing to what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the wind's going to be in front of you, sometimes it's going to be behind you, and you can't control that. That's just not that the wind is out of your control. You do not have any say about that.
Yeah.
But what you have to say
Yeah.
about is how you direct the sales. That you have everything to say about. And I think managing the attitude of yourself as you're directing those sales, as you're adjusting those sales, matters. And I think,
Yeah.
you know, sl taking the time to meditate and let go of all the attachments, because that's really just what, in one sense, that's what we're doing when we meditate is we're letting
Yeah.
go of how it's supposed to be. And then, sometimes you notice like, fuck, that was a shitty meditation and I was all distracted, but that's just an attachment you have to some expectation about how the meditation was supposed to go versus this is,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Right. Yeah, because in the metaphor we're using of sailing, it changes what I think the sitting on the cushion is for. If I'm sitting on the cushion thinking that is the wind, the sail catching the wind, no, that's me doing the ropes and the pulleys to set the sail.
yeah,
So it puts less pressure for me. This metaphor puts less pressure for me on the actual sitting.
yeah,
Sitting
good,
is just getting things in place so that the wind can take me with it and
exactly.
the rest of the day. That makes that feel better to me because then I can, it's mental hygiene, it's spiritual hygiene. I'm just getting things in place so that alignment can take me with it, that the wind can take me with it. And
Yeah,
this is a great metaphor. It's really working for me.
good. Okay. Well, we'd love to hear from you about whether or not this works for you. Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You want to put a pin in it or?
yeah, no, I think that's good. I think that's a good place to stop. You got
Okay.
more? I,
No, no. I mean, I feel pretty complete about it. You know, it's a good metaphor. And the only, maybe I'd say this on the end of this is like you said, this isn't like a new conversation. I
right.
think the reason we have the conversation, look, if you listening to this have reached enlightenment, you don't need this. This is, and if you're only interested in hustle, you also don't need this. This is an interesting conversation for those of us who are trying to reconcile or make some sort of peace with a desire to have a more mindful way to show up to work in a culture that tends to value uh hustle over
Yeah.
mindfulness.
Yeah,
And
right.
this is just our way of sort of
Yeah,
working that out.
right. And part of it is, the culture values activity over performance, that
Mm,
being busy
yeah.
versus being effective.
Uh-huh.
And I think I've found that meditating and giving myself that space to be mindful and keep my attitude toward gratitude
Hmm.
has my actions be
Hmm.
way more effective. And I don't have to really worry about my actions as long as the actions I'm taking are in alignment with what I'm committed to with the
Yep.
cathedral I'm building.
Yep.
Things just have been working out. And I'm really interested in the longevity and the reproducibility of that. And,
Yeah.
we shall see.
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this and you're somebody who would who's looking to be in a conversation for mindfulness in business, the Mindful CEO Mastermind might be a great fit for you.
Yeah.
In order to do that, you got to go through the 9-week course. It's free. Aaron hosts cohorts every
Every like
so often.
3 months, every quarter,
Okay, and the next ones I think you said are coming up in January. Yeah.
January.
So go to the realtor. If you're a realtor, go to therealtorsedge.com. You can get on the wait list there. And if you're not a realtor, but you still want to be in the same conversation for mindfulness in business, go to thegratefulbreath.com and you can click the appropriate buttons there.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah. And
Yeah, I would love to hear from you. Love to.
yeah,
I really would love to hear from people that are practicing this and discovering. I want to hear what you're discovering. So great.
yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Aaron. All right, people. Catch you next time. Peace.